So guys, right now I was just reading online that Don West passed away, and this is definitely very very sad. And I do apologize because I don't have the most professional setup right now, just because I have a difficult living situation right now. But the thing is that this is very big news because he's definitely one of the most underrated commentators ever, and I really like Don West a lot during his time in TNA. Like I always felt like he always had a very distinctive voice, like you see with Taz or JR. And another thing about him is that he always had like a sense of humor. Like, I liked Jerry the King Lawler during the Attitude Era. I felt like Jerry the King Lawler's voice and his dialogue added to a lot of humor. And with Don West, I always felt like he had some humor and personality, and also like the most iconic moment of TNA, like one of the most badass moves in the early days of TNA was Elix Skipper doing that top was like going on top of the cage, and he was doing something like not moonsault, but he was like doing a Hurricane Rana off of that. Like part of what sold it was really Don West popping for it. The same way when the Undertaker threw Mick Foley off the Hell in a Cell, good God, he broke him in half. Good God, he killed him. Was what made that so popular. Pardon me, I live with a relative that's just really noisy and inconsiderate. But the thing is that sometimes it's not just the wrestling that's iconic. It's also the commentary that makes it iconic. It's a song and dance. Because otherwise, if you don't have the commentary, you're just gonna have like either fan reaction or you're gonna have something with no narrative. As I said, like the part of the mystique of the Undertaker and other wrestlers is not just their performance; it's just really how the announcers sell it for them. And in the TNA days, Don West did a lot of that. And I also like Don West because one thing you see in TNA and AEW is that they're very much their own style. Because when you think of WWE and scripted commentary, or just really, you can only really, not giving a lot of people opportunities to do their own ideas unless you were in the clique. I like Don West because he was kind of edgy, let the pigeons loose. And then also, like that time he cursed out Mike Tenay. Even though I didn't respect him for doing that, I also appreciate the side of just saying, what, you're showing to the audience that this is not WWE. This is TNA, where you don't know, where you can be edgy, where you can try something out. And if it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. But importantly, we've kind of lost that as an art in professional wrestling with Vince, where he's kind of very scripted and almost to a point where people are just reading a poorly written script. But Don West was one of those people to me that I feel like really really did what I think makes good wrestling, which is that if you have people who can talk, you allow them to experiment with their own work. Pardon me, I have a cold. And you allow them to experiment with their own work, and if they deliver, they can deliver. Sometimes it's hit or miss. But the thing is that you have to kind of give people who have the talent for talking, or they may have something distinct about them. You have to give them the chance to kind of innovate themselves and actually do something, and they become iconic. Like look at Ricky Starks, that his promo against MJF. The reason why he's standing out now, and maybe he have a breakout year next year, is because they chose to give him a chance, and they said like, okay, well this kid can talk. So what would have happened if he was in WWE and they said, what, you can talk, but you're too much like The Rock, so we're going to have you go off this script that doesn't work? Or what would happen if they did something like, oh, well, you know what, you went off the script, now you get buried because you did that. So, I appreciate Don West for being an example of the outcome when you give people a chance to be themselves and do their own type of, verbiage, because that's very, very important. And ultimately, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a director, I'm a writer, and there's always a strength in when you allow people to be themselves versus you're censoring other people's work, or you're like, what, I think this works best for you. So, rest in peace, Don West. This is a major loss. Obviously, he needs to be in the TNA Hall of Fame next year. And I really think even if they want to put somebody else, there should be two people. He should be one of those. He beyond deserves this. And if not, that would be a total fuck you to him. But he deserves this. He is the iconic voice of TNA wrestling. And unfortunately, I do think that he was kind of let go earlier than he should have. So, he was also part of that when TNA was really good, but he kind of suffered from the bad choices they made towards the end when they allowed Hulk Hogan to run wild. So, rest in peace, rest in peace, and I really, really just I'm gonna miss him. He did a really great job. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.